Hello, everyone, and welcome to the New Beginnings Family Law Podcast, where we have real conversations about life's biggest transitions. I'm Montina Young Frazier, your host and the marketing and communication strategist for New Beginnings Family Law in Huntsville, Alabama. I work closely with this incredible team to bring you clear, practical conversations about divorce, custody, and navigating life's most important transitions. At New Beginnings Family Law in Huntsville, Alabama, we help families navigate divorce, custody, and complex matters with clarity, compassion, and strength. Our mission is simple: new life, new direction, new beginnings. Let's get into today's discussion. Today, I'm sitting down with attorney Allie Thompson, one of our attorneys here at New Beginnings Family Law in Huntsville, Alabama. Allie works closely with families navigating divorce and custody and other complex family law matters, helping them move forward with confidence and clarity. Attorney Allie, let's start with this. Why family law?
So I picked family law because I knew I wanted to work with people. The idea of sitting in the office all day, looking at my computer was not something I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be in trial. I wanted to help people, not just work with people. And also, I'm nosy. And, I'm able to do all of those things with family law. I can help people. I have a change of scenery. I'm in court half the time, I'm in office half the time. And I get to hear all of the juicy details that people tell me about their life, about their family, about their case, and then help them navigate that drama. And so for me, it felt like the perfect fit.
Oh, wow. And you know what? I'm laughing here about the nosy part. So I actually have started American Sign Language and I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm pretty conversational now. And that's one of the things I think about a lot with our emotional signs. That I am nosy. So I'm going to ask you a question. And we kind of had a discussion beforehand, but this is not on the list. I need to ask, is your name actually Allie, or is it short for anything else like Allison, or, is it just Allie?
It's just Allie.
Oh,
My
cool.
mom had a baby name book in, the 80s, I'll say. And it said that Allie, just Allie, was the feminine version of Albert. And that was my grandfather's name. So she picked it.
Oh.
And yeah, I navigate that question a lot about Allie Allison, but it's just Allie.
I love that. And I'm a name person because I'm actually the third Montina in my family. My daughter's the fourth Montina. And so I always ask people about, I love talking about their names. So thank you
Yeah,
for
of
sharing.
course.
So I have a series of questions that I'm going to ask you, and I'm super excited about learning more about you and for our audience, whether they are watching this or listening to this, understanding more about you and how important it is to choose the right attorney, especially in this type of transition in their lives. So, who are you outside of being an attorney?
I am a wife. I am a daughter and a sister and a friend. I am the mother to a 14-year-old dog. Um, and, I'm just a person. I am enjoying the practice of law, but I very much enjoy my life outside of it as well. And I think that's important for
Yeah.
everyone to have that balance.
Yeah, I always call it harmony because I'm like balance. If my husband were to call me right now, I'd say, "Hey, you have to hold on a second." But harmony is it's like an orchestra. So it's like a harmonious life.
Yeah.
And we don't have to balance it because we have harmonies. I love
Yeah.
that for you. And then, what do you actually enjoy doing outside of working? When you're not working, where are you?
So I enjoy spending time with my family and friends, obviously. I relocated to Huntsville to be closer to the Shoals area where I'm from, especially now that my dad's retired, so I can spend more time with him. And I enjoy going to see live music. I go to the comedy club locally quite often. And I've started enjoying travel more. It was something that I never found the time to do, but my husband has forced me to find the time to do it. And I'm thankful for that.
If you don't find the time, you have to take the time. I know in 2024, I spent 2 weeks in India and it was with my chamber, so it actually was kind of a business trip, but
Yeah.
it was incredible. So yes, I have to hear more about your travel adventures. I love to travel. And what's something people would be surprised to learn about you?
I do not like any sort of conflict in my personal life. I'm very conflict avoidant. And people often ask why I ended up doing what I do, since divorce law is conflict driven all the way around. And I think it's because I can deal with the conflict when I advocate for others and speak up for others where I may not enjoy doing it for myself.
Kind of goes back to the cobbler's kids have no shoes.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that. So again, you talked about why you decided to choose family law. What makes this work meaningful for you?
I think it's because for most people, not always, but for most people, this is their only dealings with the law. Whether it's we're helping someone adopt, we're helping someone, divorce, helping someone get married through a prenup, there is usually a chapter of life where someone is going to need a family law attorney. And so not only are we helping them with their specific need, but we're their introduction into the world of law and dealing with attorneys in the court system. And I think that's important because I don't want them to have a horrible experience to where they never want to contact attorney again. And so not only are we helping them with something that's very difficult, getting a divorce, dealing with custody issues with their children, but we're helping them navigate a very complicated system, which is the court system.
Yeah, and it's pretty intimidating as well. I've been in divorce, but thank God I'm married. Now I tell people I'm really just blessed and grateful for my husband who's amazing. But life transitions, when it happens, it happens. And I know some people decide to do it for themselves, but I couldn't imagine walking through that situation by myself. So having the support and guidance of an attorney that actually cares is important. So it is important. What do you love the most about helping the families? I heard you mention adoption. That's one of my favorite stories that we've done there at the firm.
I enjoy helping them figure out what works for them. There's not a one size fits all for every family, every individual, every child.
Mhm.
And so oftentimes people have an idea of what it is they want. They may be stubborn about that and say, this is what I saw online. This is what a friend told me happened to them. And I enjoy working with them to figure out the exact thing that they need and want and what we need to go for, because what works for some may not work for them. And so helping them figure out that, what they're after, but then also helping them figure out how to navigate this new part of their life, co-parenting, being single for maybe the first time in decades, and what that means, what that looks like, and where they want to go from here.
I love that. I'm glad that you actually mentioned that being single because it can be scary. I know when I was single for a number of years, my daughter ended up putting me on Match.com because she's like, "Mom, I just think you're amazing," and I'm like, "Okay." And my husband is my second. He was my second match date, and in 2 weeks he said,
Oh,
"Would you get married again?" I know that's kind of our story, and I was like, "Okay." And we both had tough marriages prior, and it has been like heaven on. And that was our theme of our wedding was heaven on earth. So there's
well,
hope for you out there if you are single.
yeah, and for
There
some
is
of these
hope.
people, the dating has changed so much
Oh
since
yeah.
they've been single. And so there have been times where I've discussed with my clients, what that may look like when they're ready,
Yeah.
and making sure that they are ready before they start, obviously, but,
Yes.
how things have changed because it's scary.
Yeah. The landscape has changed, but you know what? They've changed too.
Yeah.
And especially there with you all, I've actually been to the firm where you all have prayer and you guys care about your clients. You're compassionate. So just know, y'all, you are in great hands and they truly do care about you all. So let's move on here. What's one mistake people make early in the process?
They are reactive. They are not thinking clearly, understandably so, because it's highly emotional. They're upset, they're scared, they're angry, and they may say or do things that they regret later, not only because of the divorce case or custody case, but because it hurts feelings of others. It hurts their own feelings sometimes when they think
Mhm.
about how they reacted. And so I think it's important that, to the best of their ability, they remain calm and remember who they are and act in accordance with who they are.
Yeah, I think that's important. I always describe it to people. It's like death. It's like going to a funeral because that's what it is. You're just laying everything to rest, and then hopefully beauty comes from the ashes. So I definitely agree with that too. Now here's one. I actually get people to ask me this sometimes. How long does the divorce process typically take?
In typical attorney fashion, it depends.
It depends.
I tell people 6 months to a year would be standard,
Mhm.
depending on if they're in agreement. It
Mhm.
could be a month. If they are not in agreement and it's going through the court system, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, depending on how busy their court is. And so 6 months to a year is standard, but it could be much sooner. It could take a little longer.
Okay, so yeah, that's always what I tell people. I'm like, it depends. They'll call me, hey, do you know an attorney? I'm like, well, what kind of attorney? And how long is the divorce? Well, it depends. What mistakes do parents make during actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna skip this one. I was gonna ask some things. What should someone expect during their first consultation?
A lot of questions on my end.
Mm,
I feel that there's things that I have to know. It's a bit of a fact finding because oftentimes people come here, they don't know very much about the process. And so I have to steer the conversation the first, 10 minutes, make sure I have all the relevant information. And then I will ask questions that are open ended. So you have the opportunity to tell me the less boring side of things. The how did we end up here? What is it that you're hoping will happen from here? Um, what questions do you have for me? And so it's a bit business up front, asking boring questions about how long you've lived here and how much your home is worth. And then it's into your story and your history and your feelings.
oh, and that's good that you have someone there telling my listeners to support you and listen because we know that when we're going through life's transition, we do want to feel like we're heard. So that's important too. When should someone hire an attorney?
As soon as you think you might need one, it is
Mhm.
better to meet with someone early and not need to hire an attorney, or to get the information about your options and then decide something different than wait too long. Um, a lot of times people don't know what options they have or how to initiate a conversation with their spouse if it's a divorce. And at the very least, having a consultation can give you the framework of what now, instead of scrambling when something's already been initiated against you, or when hopefully not, but you make a mistake that could hurt your case. And so we want to avoid that happening if possible. And it can be avoided by speaking to an attorney sooner than later.
Yeah, that's definitely important. How can someone prepare emotionally and legally?
Emotionally, it will very much depend on each individual person. I've had people I've met with who they've thought about this for a while and they've figured out their feelings. Sometimes it's that their spouse has informed them they want a divorce, and that's a shock to
Mm,
them. And
yeah.
so, using your team, whether that's just me as your attorney, or if you have, a spiritual leader, a preacher, Sunday school group that you're involved in, family and friends, to help you deal with the what now of it, of what does my life look like as a divorced person or as a single parent. And then using that emotional support to guide your legal decisions. I think that you make better decisions when you're coming at it from a logical place. I understand that sometimes it's not going to be just logical. And so having someone to discuss the emotional side of things so you can remove it to the best of your ability will help you make the best legal decisions.
Thank you for that. All right, so we want to learn a little bit more about you because we are nosy too. So it's about your personality. And this makes people just kind of like I said, just know a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
So this is our kind of flash round. Coffee or tea?
Coffee,
Early bird or night owl?
early bird,
Me too. If you weren't an attorney, what would you be?
private investigator.
I'm not surprised. Favorite way to decompress?
Oh, I love watching bad like television movies, reality TV, stuff that's silly, stuff that's silly.
Favorite TV show or podcast?
TV show is Jeopardy. I watch Jeopardy every single day. I have since I was a kid.
Wow. One word that your colleagues would use to describe you.
Stubborn, I think. I'm pretty stubborn, both in helping my clients and also receiving help from our staff and paralegals sometimes.
What's your comfort food?
Oh, macaroni and cheese.
Oh, yeah, I can love some good macaroni and cheese. Dog or cat?
Dog.
Oh,
I own a dog. I like cats. I'm horribly allergic. So I
oh,
don't
my daughter is
dislike
too.
them, but I've had a dog since I was a baby.
Oh,
And my dog now I've had for 13 years. She's 14 years old
oh.
and she is old and a baby at the same time. And I love her dearly.
No, yeah, dogs are so. I'm a dog person too, but I've learned to like cats. But my daughter is allergic. But she married a man that had a cat, and they kept her for like 8 years before she
Yeah.
was older and passed away. So she dealt with it. All right. So what's the most rewarding part of your work?
It's helping people, not just if we get a so-called win, because I don't know if there's ever truly a winner in these sort of cases,
Mm,
but it's helping them navigate their life with this new situation. It's helping them understand how to co-parent
mm,
and understand how to change their schedule in their life to meet and fit their new situation and just being there for them. Because sometimes that's what it really comes down to is having someone that you can discuss these things with, that won't judge you, that will give you advice that sometimes you don't want to hear, but that's unbiased advice. And that's what I appreciate being able to do for someone is just being there for them.
that's just so comforting. What would you say to someone who feels overwhelmed right now?
That's normal. It's very normal to feel overwhelmed right now. Obviously, depending on the type of case they're going through, whether it's, I guess, are more positive cases of an adoption. I mean, that's a long process, and sometimes there can be ups and downs, and so it's normal to be overwhelmed with that. And then, some of our more negative cases, a divorce. This is a change. It's a big change, and maybe not a change you want. And so figuring out how to get divorced and what it will look like once you are, it's overwhelming, but we're here to help. We're here to help you.
What's something you wish every client knew? And actually, it sounds like that you're there to help, but what's something I'm not going to answer for you. So, what's one thing you wish every client knew?
I wish that they knew that it is better to be honest and forthcoming with me, their attorney, um, because I'm not going to judge them. That is unlikely that they would say something that anyone would judge them for, especially someone like me who's heard it all. But that is not the point of it. Everyone makes mistakes, everyone has silly questions, And my job is to navigate them through this. And it's better for me to know everything. And I want to help them.
And that leads me to our final question. And you sort of answer that, but I just want to ask it again. And it's if someone watching this is going through a difficult transition, what would you want them to know?
Call us is the first step. It's probably the most difficult step, it seems, is making that contact with an attorney because it makes it real. But contact us, schedule a consultation with me or one of our other amazing attorneys here at New Beginnings, and let us walk through it with you and figure out the best solution for your current situation so you can start the new chapter of your life.
Y'all heard it here. I just want to thank you for joining us today, Attorney Allie Thompson. Yay! Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me. And thank you for being open about, when people are going through life's just most difficult transitions. So I do want to thank you for being on our show today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
If you're facing a major life transition and need guidance, the team at New Beginnings Family Law in Huntsville, Alabama is here to help. Visit us at newbeginningsfamilylaw.com to schedule a consultation. And remember, this season, y'all, it's not the end of your story. New life, new direction, new beginnings.